right, here we go. All right, folks, this is Jason. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. If you're a drummer, this might be really beneficial. We're going to talk about tuning the drum. We're also going to talk about drumming in and of itself. And let's get started right away. This drum right here is, bum, bum, bum. I always forget the name of it, in case you're wondering. The company is SPL. It's the 468 series. And this drum was super inexpensive. I think it was under 200 bucks. So I love the snare drum. I think it's a good snare drum. And the snare drum head, excellent Remo, I'm pretty sure. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the head, we're gonna clean the lugs, we're gonna oil them. We're not gonna take off the bottom. We're gonna leave that on. It does not need to be restored in any way. It just needs to be cleaned up here. And it's the top part of the head that gets the dirtiest. So let's see, this is a Remo head. And we're going to switch it into something incredible here. Hold on one second. It's so funny because my cat is literally, sitting on the thing that I wanted. Cats know this. So this is what we're going to be, changing. We're going to be changing into that. All right, so listen, I'll tell you this. Changing a snare drum is a little bit different than changing a tom. They're a little bit different in their approach. So I'm just going to show you what I've been doing for the last 40 years, give or take, okay? I got my first drum when I was 8 years old. I'm 55 years old. So I've been doing this for a while, all right? So, tons of gigs. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna see how they're kind of like, this drum has been outside. I've used it all over the world and it's getting a little bit dirty. So we're just gonna quickly, and I'm just randomly loosening stuff. I don't have to do this. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. You could just do it all like this if you want to. But you just wanna take off, we're gonna take off the drum head. We're gonna loosen up and take off these lugs. Okay, and we're going to put them off to the side. And later on, we're going to clean the lugs. We'll clean them a little bit, and we'll put some WD-40 on the lugs, and then we'll put them back in, okay? And we'll replace the head as well. We're also going to clean the rim a little bit. The rest of the drum is really looking pretty good, so we don't need to do that. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Anything about drumming, whether it's playing drums, setting up drums, how to get gigs, how to practice, anything, how to stay motivated, how to avoid imposter syndrome and not compare yourself to other amazing drummers that are all around you. And isn't it funny how you choose to compare yourself to the drummers that are better than you, as opposed to compare yourself to the drummers that are worse than you? You know, there's just as many drummers that are worse than you than there are that are better than you. And it really doesn't matter. There's only one Buddy Rich, right? There's only one Neil Peart. There's only one of those people. And here's the other great thing about great drummers who are alive right now, especially session drummers, is that they can only do one gig at a time, right? So even if you live in a city and you're the second best drummer and there's someone better than you, well, guess what? That drummer cannot do more than one gig at a time. That's just how it is. So just hang out, stand by. Don't burn bridges, make friends. One of the best ways to get gigs, by the way, is to be just around people that gig, honestly. And just don't be a wannabe, but just hang out with the people and just be a part of the community. One of the most important things that bands look for, and by the way, when you get loose enough, you can just start doing this with your fingers. One of the most important things aspects that bands look for, especially touring bands, in a musician, is how hang-worthy that musician is. You know, is that musician worth being with? You know, are they worth hanging out on a bus for 23 hours of the day? I mean, you realize, I don't know if you realize, but so I'm just going to adjust the camera here just a little bit. Or maybe not. Shoot, that's not working. Okay, so it's still working. Yeah, cool. Just double checking the camera. You do realize that when you're on tour, most of the touring time is just downtime. 23 hours a day of doing nothing, and then 1 hour a day of slamming and jamming and playing your best. And that's why Buddy Rich always talked about having no sympathy for performers who didn't show up and play their best. And it didn't really care what you did during those 23 hours of the day. But when it was time to hit the stage, he would expect you to bring it with zero excuses. Zero excuses. You can't use hungover as an excuse. You can't use stoned as an excuse. You can't use a relationship breakup as an excuse, bad conversation, you know, with the ex on the phone or with the wife. You can't use anything like that as an excuse. You can't use depression or illness, none of it when you're on the road. There's no time. You have a paying audience. You know, you have people that are literally paying to see you. And our job as performers is to give them that escape, give them that time off. They're spending their hard-earned money, their money and their time to hang out with us, the performers. And it's our job to deliver that. And if a performer cannot understand that, it's like a surgeon. When they show up, their job is to bring it too. But they understand that if they don't bring it, the person might die. Well, a musician should have the same exact philosophy, except no one dies. Well, that's a bad excuse. It's a good thing that no one dies during your audience if you do a bad job. But guess what? They die inside, and so should you. It's a bad excuse. You cannot make excuses. It's just unacceptable in the business. Oh, look at that. Huh? Okay, a little bit of a broken thing. Okay, cool. So this is exciting. All right, we're getting somewhere now. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna quickly. This drum is fairly clean. It's fairly clean. Leave comments, please, below, and let me know what you think about what I'm saying. But you know, and what your experiences have been as far as this is so pretty. As far as bringing it and people who show up and don't deliver. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. I don't really care if you party. I don't care how hard you party, right? That's up to you, what you want to do. Now, if you're an asshole to be with when you party, that sucks. But if that's what you do and you party, and then every time you hit the stage, you like really perform really, really, really well, I don't care what you do. Excuse me. Whoa. I don't care what you do off stage. You know, who am I to judge? This is not a corporate gig, right? This is not an office job. Being a musician is not an office job. It's a very special opportunity. You get to travel the world. You get to, you know, be the ambassador for everywhere you go. You get to be the superstar, the rock star, the jazz star. You get all to do all that stuff. But in return, you know, you also have to deliver and have no excuses, you know, in your performance. You know, that's just part of the agreement, is that you need to be excellent, excellent, excellent. And there's really no excuses around that. And that's something you see, you know, commonly in greats, that they just don't really make excuses very often. You know, they just completely just play their best and deliver all the time. You know, I've been on this Buddy Rich kick recently because he's so inspiring, because it's so funny to watch him on these talk shows where he's like talking, he's being silly, and as soon as his sticks hit the drums, as soon as they hit the drums, it's like, it's all business. It's all business with Buddy. Like, you know what I mean? There's no in between. There's no like just, I'm just sort of playing. It's like he's always really, really, really playing. He's really, really playing. And that's exactly it. And I heard that Buddy Rich partied a lot, actually. I heard that he smoked a lot of pot. Now, I don't know that for 100%, but I heard that he did. I heard that he smoked a bunch. You know what? Well, whatever. Don't make anything your crutch. I don't care what you do, but don't make it a crutch. Now, Buddy Rich, see, if you're in a situation where you're like Buddy, you could probably always have pot. But if you're not in a situation where you can always have pot, you better not make that a crutch. You better not make that an excuse that you didn't play well because you didn't have the right pot or alcohol or whatever, or monitor mix. You didn't have the right mix, so you didn't play well. I once heard Terry Carrington was a drummer. She performed a little recital thing at Berkeley, a little workshop, and she played a solo, and then right after her solo was done, she complained because she was like, I'm used to having more bass drum in the monitors, and all the real drummers in the room were like, yeah, that's the really bad excuse. Like you just didn't play very well, Terry. You could just say that. You could just say, what the reality is that I'm very nervous. I'm playing in front of a room full of musicians. We're all drummers, and they're all watching me and judging me, and I'm having a hard time. If she said that, she probably would have relaxed a lot more, and she probably would have done a lot better. This is looking really good, isn't it? Okay, cool. It's not perfect. So you know what? I did bring this. I guess I should just use it. This is like magic eraser. In case you're wondering what I'm using, it's nothing. It's like a bathroom cleaner. It's just like I don't know how to even use this. Does this work? Do you wet this thing? How does this thing work? Is this supposed to be wet? Oh, it works. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, I think it's got some smell to it. Oh, it's got soap in it. All right. That's fine. Hey, what? Okay. Okay, cool. This is looking really good though. Try not to waste too many paper towels. We haven't done the lugs yet. We're gonna get to the lugs next, folks. And then we're going to tune it up. We're not really doing a big sound test here because I'm in my kitchen. So I'm not going to do that to my neighbors today. But what I can do is just get it tuned up and ready and just chit chat with you. This is a new type of video for me, but a little different. But we can talk, and I really love talking. I usually do a lot of live streams like this. Okay, so this is good. We're going to put this over here to hang out. And I hope you're learning something from this. It's a really simple process, okay? I'm going to take these all off like this. Ugh. Okay, this could be really annoying. Okay, I'm not going to take these off like this. I'm going to leave them on, okay? So there's a few ways to do it. I tend to do it this way. Okay. So I tend to just kind of like, definitely want to wash your hand after this. Kind of just give them a little bit of a rinse like that, just with WD-40. And the good news is this: you get them all oiled and ready to go inside here, right? Because we don't have to oil those. So that's it. We just do one like this. I'll lay out a little towel here. Okay. I guess we'll do it this way. There's a couple of ways you could do it. Okay, so we're cleaning the lugs. They're going to go back in. This is a 10 lug. So what were we just talking about? Well, we're talking about the discipline it takes to perform, and the fact that musicians don't often see their performance as a life and death experience, so they don't take it seriously, like a pilot or a doctor might take their job very seriously, because if they don't perform well enough, then someone could die. Well, guess what? Good musicians, professionals, understand that concept somehow, and then they have to do it. They have to play well. They have no choice. They have to. You know what I mean? They just have to. They just, and some of them, because of that craziness, they end up doing drugs and they kill themselves. And there's a crazy feeling that goes with that responsibility. But it's like, it's a perfectionism, but it's not that. It's also your duty to the art form, your duty to just delivering art, delivering creativity as true as you possibly can to who you are, you know what I mean? To being honest to who you are. And that means really living your full potential in front of the audience. In front of the audience, living your full potential. That's a lot to do. It's a lot to do. And again, it doesn't make a difference how you get there. It doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. Absolutely. As far as these Buddy Rich videos that I've been posting recently, I've been posting a lot. It's so interesting to hear people's comments. I would say most people's comments are extremely friendly and awesome. But it's so interesting that everyone who doesn't know Buddy Rich seems to think that he was an asshole. And every single person, I mean every person, and it's a lot of people who have met him, a lot of people have chimed in through comments. Many, many, many people have chimed in. Everyone who met him has said that he was nothing but just a great human being, super kind, respectful, generous, empathetic, personable. He gave them time. He gave his energy to people. He was very giving. It's just so interesting how, because of the bus tapes we're talking about. By the way, I have a really funny video about Seinfeld and the bus tapes, so I'll try to pin that somewhere here. But because of those bus tapes, and his wife even said it was unfortunate because those bus tapes got out and him ranting at the band. And we already talked about how he felt about perfectionism in the band, so I've already said my feelings about that. But the fact that those things got out and it gave him a reputation of being like a hard ass. It's like Simon Cowell. I don't know if the guy is really a hard ass, but he surely has a reputation of being one because we've seen him be a hard ass so many times to people on TV, right? So Buddy Rich did not really ask for this video to be aired. That's another thing. His wife was very upset that someone would betray him and post something like that or share something like that. You know what I mean? I understand that as well. He didn't consent to that being recorded and it was released without his permission. Listen, we've all done things. We've all done things that if they were recorded or someone saw your text messages, they would probably think that you were the biggest jerk, right? Or even worse, right? So come on. So just to defend Buddy, we've all been there. We've all been outside of our comfort zone and have been stressed out to a point where we just broke and we just said things that we did not mean. And if they were taken out of context, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure some people have probably threatened death on people. Are you really capable of doing that? Would you? No. But have you said it before? Have you said that, like, I will unalive you? You might have said that before to somebody. Would you really do it? No. But if it was taken out of context and 1 million people saw it and read it, guess what? You would probably be deemed a blah, 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 right? So just have some compassion. Please, we've all been there. And when you're famous, there's very few famous people that can get away with being completely scot-free. And there are some incredible people out there, like Steve Martin is one of my favorite performers and comedians and musicians. And Steve Martin is clear. He's clean. He's clean as it gets. And there's a few other people like him. You know what I mean? Absolutely, many people like him. He's just one that came to my mind, who are just clear and clean. They're not liars. They're not cheaters. They're just good people doing good work. All right, folks, let's do this. This is exciting. If you're with me so far, consider hitting the like button. Okay, now let me just see something, because this snare drum is usually over here for me. So do I want this to be where I can see it? I do. I want that onks. Okay, how is this doing here? This looks pretty good. Okay, cool. See, that is a little bit odd to me. I think it's a little bit, I mean, remember, this is not an expensive drum. So it's a little bit off. But let's see what we'll do. So this is an important part now. When you put these in, okay, see how I do this? And when you put these guys in, you're just gonna kind of set them like, you just wanna get like that. And then you wanna go right across, okay? And you wanna get this guy in here, okay? Ooh, I cannot wait. Okay. Then we're gonna go over here, okay? So it's like a square. We'll do it like the four, yeah, like a clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so. Because you can't go directly across. Okay, so that's there. Then we're gonna go to this guy here. Okay. Okay, now if it's hard to go in a little bit, then just take it here, and there we go, center it, and yeah, it's okay. Okay, cool. Nice. And then we go from here, we can do this guy. You know, it's, you know, you want to get close enough, right? But we're not tightening them yet. We're just, this is really loose. See, real loose. Okay. And then we'll go across here. Okay. Does it have to be exact? No. I mean, no, it doesn't have to be exact. It's like you could just be okay with being close. I mean, I've been playing drums for 40 plus years now. And my drums always sound really, really, really good when I play. And I've never had any training on how to tune them. You just go by ear. But there are some simple techniques to get it even, you know, to get that head at least even, right? Now, as I said, this drum might be a little bit warped, so it's not. It might not be perfect. I can see already, but let's see. And I like this drum, but it doesn't have much of a rim. It's all right, but it's not a very deep rim. We should have one more, and that goes over here. These have been oiled just enough. I mean, again, you don't need a whole lot of WD-40 in these things, right? Just enough to clean them up and give them a little bit of movement. Okay, good. So now I'm just gonna kind of go around and make sure each one is kind of like not, because, you know, each one a little bit is still on there, tight. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. So now all the ripples are gone. Okay, all the ripples are gone. Something I usually do with a drum like this is I set it, but I don't think these drums need to be set anymore. Sometimes I would press in really hard on the skin and kind of break it, but I don't think they need to be done. You'll hear a crack. If it cracks, that's not a bad thing, because it will have to stretch a little bit. So now we're just gonna do a little bit of this, okay? You see how I'm just going across now? I mean, I could have put on the heads this way before, but you could figure out what I'm doing here. You can see what I'm doing, the pattern. I think I got that in there. I think we're good. So that's it. I mean, we are good to go. That is good. Look at that. So let me turn the head off for a second. This is how I might do it, like. bum. Hear the overtone, boom. I mean, that's good enough for me. Cool. So I would start with that, and then what I would do is I'm not going to do it today, but I don't want to play in the kitchen. But that's the drum cleaning and setup. We have the Evans Ankh head switched from the Remo. If you enjoyed this type of thing, leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. Awesome. Bye-bye.